Welcome, excuse me, to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, father of a stolen child, Arwin, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in... Oh, Brian's Logic. Did I miss anybody? No, I think that's it. And a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? My OBS is playing up, so I've got a slightly more limited control of the show today, but I'm sure it's okay as it's running and we're live. So happy days. Like a pilot. Once you get up in the air, everything's cushy. So once you're live, everything goes okay. Or you hope. That's normally where our crashes happen. But there we go. Let's move on with some housekeeping. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No, absolutely not. Especially from pilots. No evidence.
That's why I brought it up first. Any evidence of a physical, geometric, sphere edge? That's a horizon formerly known as Earth curvature.
No, not at all.
No, definitely not one of those either. The horizon is apparent. It moves around with elevation and weather.
In fact, they'll explain to you why we don't experience that geometric horizon. So, yeah, no, we don't.
Well, on one day they'll explain why we don't see it, and on another day they'll tell you how it's blocking boats and buildings and show you an Earth curve calculator that says how it's physically getting in the way of stuff. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
None whatsoever. They can't even define it properly. They have to go into time and a dimension that doesn't exist because the old definition doesn't work. So they came up with a new one to where you takes you out of any testing or any kind of reality.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun? Oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I was just going to say on that, gravity, just before you go on, the gas, the gravity question. Well, gas repels in all directions, constantly repelling, absolutely zero attraction. And each one of those gas molecules or gas atoms are a single entity. So if they repel all the time, constantly, and they never have a singular downward vector, they never have a linear downward vector. Yet they still have a weight. So no evidence for gravity whatsoever.
Any evidence?
Yeah, I'd just also like to add, sorry, I know you're trying to get
No,
off,
go ahead, go ahead.
But if I had to choose, I mean, for those sensitive to the anti-gravitators out there, or whatever you want to call it, like, if I had to choose, I would like my gravity without begging the question of a sphere that's creating the force to, keep things on Earth, or begging the question of a giant magnets in the sky, causing these fields and causing the ordering of. I just want proof of this thing that everyone keeps saying, instead of assuming how things work without any evidence.
Yeah, welcome to the club. We all do. That's precisely why we're asking. But I appreciate you reiterating that we'd like to actually have some evidence of the things that they claim to explain away the model that isn't the world we live in. It'd be nice to see some evidence of these things, and we don't get it.
Elijah, why do you think they need a sphere to go along with their gravity.
Well, to keep us grounded.
So there's your answer.
I think what 10th Man is saying, Elijah, is but for the fact that they need gravity because they believe they're on a spinning ball that's not throwing them off, they wouldn't have gravity. So it's necessitated by their ball belief and their explanations for why their ball doesn't make sense. A bit like explaining away why we don't see a geometric horizon while simultaneously showing us how we are supposed to have a geometric horizon called Earth curve. You know, it's one of those cognitively painful things for anybody in this arena because they're exposed to these details and yet they retain their globe belief, which is their prerogative at the end of the day. So, any evidence, I'll try again. We'll see if we get it in. Distance to the sun. Oh no, sod it. Molten iron core at the centre of a self-perpetuating... There it is on screen.
No, again, they've got a sphere as their main belief. They need gravity in order for it to work. Then they got to go down and say there's something turning in the middle that causes this force of gravity. But then they change it and say it's not that. It's something in pseudo-Riemannian force space and the concept of time. So they don't know what they're saying anymore.
We will cover it now. Go on.
Molten iron core story came after the geometric horizon story. So they don't have one of those. So one is dependent on the other, like the molten iron core story is dependent on a geometric horizon story. So that's that, isn't it?
Again, as it's on screen, what about the distance to the sun?
Well, they need a geometric horizon for that also, as that's what is the calculation starts with that. So regardless of any claims I would make about distance to the sun, or I am or not making, I mean, their distance to the sun starts with a geometric horizon. So they don't have that geometric horizon, so their calculation is not but a calculation, there is no measurements. I know I keep on talking about this geometric horizon that's not there. And people might feel as if they're bored of hearing about the Black Swan argument. But what people have to realise is that is the end of the globe. They need
Brian,
to just accept it.
Brian, they're gonna come back at you with the one and all answer they have for everything: refraction. The molten iron core, refraction. The geometric horizon, refraction. Distance to the sun, refraction.
And the refraction that they are talking about is based on your value that's based on the geometric horizon, and the geometric horizon doesn't exist. So that's the end of that. So that's that. Everything starts and ends with the geometric horizon. But flat earthers flat earthers are the most guilty of it because the globe earthers have to deny it, but the flat earthers have to realize that that is the end. And that's what's wrong.
So basically what you're saying, the only circle they got is their circular reasoning.
Sorry?
The only circle they go to is the circular reasoning, because they use 7/6R for their refraction.
Yeah, you need R, and that means geometric horizon, and that doesn't exist, so that's it. So Nathan, no evidence for distance to the sun.
Well, it leads me on nicely to any evidence of the R value, just so we can get that done and out of the way off the back of that.
Well, your value would be based on the geometric horizon once again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and
you need to see Earth curve to have an R value.
Yeah, it's devastating.
Earth curve.
Hey, chocolate.
That's the point. That's that thing that's supposed to block boats and buildings, as they told us forever, and now it's not.
Well, the thing about it is to actually measure anything with a triangulation, they would need a flat surface. So That's a bit of a problem from the start, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know?
that's when they got local plane. They make a tangent line that's just within an area of their eyesight and say, well, that's flat. We'll measure to that.
Yeah, but they're claiming they live on a consistently curving surface. So that's a bit of an issue.
That's a big issue.
Yes.
This was covered in the pre-show, so they need a straight line, and they can't acquire one. It's just as simple as that.
They use it, and then they transpose it to the center and say they're getting it from there.
Exactly. They presuppose a zenith to the center of a presupposed spherical Earth, and then take a datum reading for a presupposed spherical Earth based on their zenith, and say, well, I'm in England, therefore I'm pointing out 45 degrees or thereabouts. Well, no, you're not.
All along, yeah, and all along, the reading, the observation, the angle that they achieved using a sextant was done on the face of the Earth, not the surface of a sphere.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, and or can't be. Because they can't manipulate their independent variable. They can only view phenomena.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
I've never seen gas pressure demonstrated without a container.
Can you show me a closed container in nature, Nathan?
Yeah. A coconut, a walnut, an almond.
An orange.
I was
And
glad when
apple.
you made that little cutout of him saying it, because he said container and then he said system. So you caught him in a lie. Good job.
Yeah, you got to lie to be a baller. That's just how it
You
is.
flipped it?
Go on, Eli.
I'm sorry, you clipped it?
Yeah, I gave it the title. You give me a coconut and I'll give you a globe lie.
Nathan, I
Nice.
wanted to
gotta
ask
go
you about
listen to
another
that.
one you had about rumpus. You're interrupting me. I never heard it one time in that clip. What happened?
That clip just used thumbnail that I think Adam made. And I just happened to stick it on the most recent Rumpus upload. So I don't know which one it
Okay.
is. I'll have to have a look. I'll dig it out for you, Neil. It's if you scroll up in Ballbusters, or not Ballbusters, Master B, it is posted.
No, I did see it, but
So,
then I see the one you trimmed out saying you're interrupting me. So I listened to it, and he never said it. So I'm like, was Nathan confused here?
No, he wasn't confused. I heard him say it. There was one time he said, "You're interrupting."
Not in the one I watched.
Anyway,
So guys, I'm upset that I missed the molten iron core because it slips by so fast these days. But we have direct proof of the molten iron core.
oh yeah,
Oh shit! Let me go get a coffee.
Yeah, it says it in the title of this article right here from Newsweek.com. Scientists finally have direct proof that the Earth's core is solid.
okay. And
Yep.
what's their direct proof that it exists in the first place?
Well, let's see
Not
here.
molten then.
Oh,
So they
wait a
keep
minute.
it solid.
Seems like at the bottom of the article, they actually say that many scientists in the field remain skeptical because it isn't direct proof. My bad. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, that's a shame. I was.
Damn,
Chocolate.
man.
Did you go too
Let me go
soon for your
throw away
coffee?
my coffee.
Yeah, bummer.
Eli,
Right,
get
Now,
out.
see, if they would have changed it to solid, it would have made sense, and I would have understood it better. Because
See that?
being
Look.
molten,
Right here, they say there have been several attempts before us, and a number of papers have claimed that they observed PKJKP waves in the seismic wave field, Tchaikovsky said. However, a recent study showed that these results were likely the observations of scattered energy, and thus the scientific community stayed divided and generally unconvinced. This work hopefully concludes a quest for the Holy Grail and provides desired constraints on inner core solidity.
Oh yeah.
So they know nothing.
Notice how they make it once removed, so it's not that they're looking at evidence for there being a molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. They're merely looking to confirm that it's solid. The assumption being that it's obviously there, but whether or not it's solid, we need to confirm that bit. Just that little detail on top of our presupposition. Anyway, quick shout out to Mario Knows It's Flat. Shout out to the agent provocateur, Decepticon, always been a globe, Ranty. Indeed, thank you very much for the super chat.
They need that core to be solid so it can understandably be magnetic. They blew it when they said it was molten, and everybody started realizing molten steel is not magnetic. That's a proven fact by every single person who, what's that called now?
Plays with
God.
magnets.
The forge, right, when they forge the steel. They use a magnet to see if it's ready to start beating on. Yep.
Blacksmith.
Metallurgist.
Yeah, see if it's beyond the Curie point.
Yeah.
Yes, so they need to alter their narrative, and like any made-up story, you can just change it, right? No, it just changed their mind. Not molten, actually solid. Just need to go about proving that. Because obviously it's still a core, and it's still a sphere, and it's still at the centre of it, and it's probably been deposited by a planet called Thea. All of that still stands, but whether or not it's solid, we need a little bit more investigation on that. The rest of our presuppositions, they obviously stand anyway.
Well, they got a fifth layer to it too now. They got another layer. That happened, I guess, before Elijah just read that. They found a fifth layer a few weeks ago.
Oh, how joyful. Got David Reed in the chat saying, "No, Ranty, the globe's a fantasy." And then he says, "Ranty said what? Ranty must have been joking, lol." No, it's not, from what I can glean. He's taken an age-old 2017/16 argument that revolved around a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator that would ascribe feet and inches values to targets so that they don't change with distance. So it's back to the old Father Ted and Dougal routine. My God, I never thought it would come to this with Ranty. This cow is small. That cow is far away. So what does the Glober reply? How can this 2-inch toy cow obscure your view of the big cow? The big cow's bigger. Yeah, this cow is small. That cow is far away. Hashtag shit shrinks.
I was just going to ask, can you give us an example?
Yeah.
It's shocking stuff.
Yeah, just
I literally used that meme yesterday when arguing the point. That shit shrinks meme. I literally used that. And I got all kinds of.
You use the cow meme, you really milk it.
I'll give my example now because, you know, this assertion goes on and on and on. And I might as well give my brick example. So if you take a brick and you put it on the horizon at 1 mile, and let's just say for this example, it's an 8-inch brick. You can say, for the sake of this argument, that you can just see it with the naked eye. You can see the brick on the horizon at 1 mile. You can just make it out. Now you take the exact same brick and move it out another mile. 2 miles. You can't see the brick anymore. It is too small to see. The angular resolution has become too limited. Now the brick is still 8 inches, but yet it's disappeared from view at a couple of miles. That exact same brick can then have a skyscraper built on top of it. And lo and behold, the angular resolution of the skyscraper is wide enough for you to see it at 2 miles. But the brick at the bottom has still got the exact same angular limitation that it had when it didn't have a skyscraper on top of it. Ergo, the skyscraper has disappeared from view according to their maths, at 8 inches. Now, in reality, 8 inches won't change with distance. So when they say 8 inches is obscured, they will ascribe an Earth curve obstruction to the reasoning behind that effect. In reality, the angular limitation becomes so acute that you cannot see the brick, and if you increase the angular size of that item by building on top of it, it doesn't alter the angle against the deck. That is where the most limited angle is. In the sky, there's nothing limiting the angle of view. Against the ground limits it, meaning the further things away, the more limited the angle, until it disappears completely. Ergo, bottom-up obstruction is very easy to demonstrate. Check out my video called Angle of Attack if you want to see making things disappear from bottom up, by simply lowering your camera, reducing the angle against the floor. So you can easily demonstrate this effect. However, to exclude the effect easily demonstrated, called perspective, you simply call it Earth curve obstruction and ascribe feet and inches instead of angular sizes.
So in that video, I believe, what's his name? Conspiracy Cats, right? He was saying, the way he was setting up this little demonstration of a diagram, that I'm favoring the flat earth in this diagram. And as I was watching him do it without using any type of angular resolution whatsoever, I'm thinking, am I imagining this, or is he really doing this completely wrong and saying it's in favor of flat earth? And I'm pretty sure if anybody goes and watches the first 10 or 15 minutes, I think it was, you're going to see the same thing. And you're going to say, wait a minute, Ranty, really?
Could I share my screen on this topic?
Did I miss something? What happened with Ranty?
Ranty's a glober now.
Say that again.
Ranty is the glober now. Ranty went back to the globe.
It's a disease that's spreading fast. It affected Paul.
Ranty,
Yeah.
flat Earth.
Neil,
Went back to the globe.
Neil, stop
Yeah.
saying that. That's not true.
That
Flopping
guy always say
around
what
like
I
flounder.
heard.
Well, you heard wrong.
He said it right there. He said, I haven't given up on flat earth. Are you kidding me, Tent? Stop
No,
letting your
Neil.
Christianity
Neil.
brother bias cloud your vision.
No, first of all, that's uncalled for. Second, all he addressed was the refraction argument. He still believes you can't have gas pressure without a container. He believes all. He doesn't believe we're on a globe.
Oh, okay.
What's
Whatever you
wrong with
say.
you?
I haven't given up on flat earth. That's not a flat earth claim to me.
Forget it.
Can I share my screen?
First thing I heard him say, Neil.
Okay.
Well, who
First
started
thing I heard
this
him
rumor
say.
then?
I
Because
can't hear
I
Nathan.
was in gyms and they were all talking about how Ranty leaving the flat Earth is a fatal blow to our side.
Exactly
And I was
my
like,
point.
Are you
so
guys
I'm wondering
back
where
and
this
forth?
is coming from.
Nathan,
Are
you
you
hear
guys
me?
switching back and
So
forth about who we're talking
what
about?
does he have? An observation or a measurement of Earth curvature? Like, what does he got?
I'm
Are
going to
you talking about Ranty now?
Hold on,
They've
go
got a
on,
photo
Mel.
chocolate.
Hold on, everyone else. Go ahead, Mel.
I was just gonna, Conspiracy Cats, Ruhif, and Ranty have got an observation in Blackpool. It's a photo from a photographer, and Ranty, is putting it forward as evidence of Earth curve and obstruction and all that good stuff.
Right, there are two photos.
Can I share my screen, Nathan, and put an end to the not that it needs to be, but just to show exactly what's going on with that photograph.
Yeah, go ahead. Is this
Thanks.
talking about
This is-
angular size reduction at distance, presumably?
yeah, well, that's obviously the main part of it. But there's an extra part in there that they conveniently avoided. And even when I shared it with Ranty, he didn't want to know. So I shared this with a bunch of different people in the past couple of days, and I'm getting bad feedback from the ballers. So 1 second now.
Okay. Well, I won't ask you to clarify what you mean by bad feedback yet, but if you get your screen presented, we'll stick it up and I'll ask everyone.
No. What I mean by bad feedback is that they're not happy about it.
Yeah, no, I kind of gleamed that.
Yeah. 1 second now. Okay, I should be sharing there now. Any minute. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, right. So it's exactly the same situation as this, where you have a photographer looking at mountains in the distance, and in between the photographer and the mountains, it doesn't have to be mountains, it could be anything. You have another piece of land or whatever. Now, the photographer in this photograph was at 150 foot high. Los Angeles here in his direct eye line is 250 foot high. Now, that means that, and the mountains are 123 miles away. Now, that means that what's happening is his angle to the mountains, especially at a distance, changes due to the fact that he can't actually see over Los Angeles. Now, the same exact thing, I don't have the photograph that Ranty and them were hunting, but it's exactly the same thing, where they are looking at mountains, but in between those mountains, there is Blackpool. And the land, and Blackpool Tower, obviously, but the land that's directly in front of them is higher than the observer's height. So consequently, what's happening is this effect. It's called photographic occultation, sometimes called visual occultation. So I'm just going to show it here. This is what happens. I had a plant on here, so don't. It's not dark. Just to let you know. So this is what happens. I'm going to show you now. When you have a small object in the front, in your foreground, but that object is higher than you, and you have a bigger object behind it. This is what happens. You know, I'm going to take another 10 seconds. I'm going to move this little pepper. As you can see, it's occulted. Bring this back in. You know, I could have done this if I had a table to use twice or three times as long. I could have done it that way, and it wouldn't matter how long the thing was. I can always make the higher than my camera height, so let's say pepper here, occult the higher, the bigger and higher than it, T-jar. That's all it is. It's a well-known effect. And that's all that's happening in that photograph. Ranty didn't want to know about it. The ballers don't want to know about it. But that's all that's happening. But it's back to, no, we don't want to see. That's what it's about. So that's the end of that. Thank you.
Why didn't you use the picture they used? That would have been good. Does anybody have that picture?
I don't have it. If someone could send it to me, I'll use it. I don't have it. We can see it. It's the same
Guess what they're
thing.
calling it? Guess what they're calling it, Nathan?
They're calling it a black swan.
The white swan.
White swan, right.
What a bunch of idiots.
Again, does the existence of a white swan negate the existence of a black one?
No.
Thanks.
It was Bev that called it white swan, because Bev went out and got the same observation from there, and anyone that goes to that same camera height and same place will get the same observation if they can see the mountains, because they're going to see the same thing. Bev got the same thing. He said it's just a white swan. He said it's just the same as any other photograph. There's nothing special about it. But that's why they're calling it the white swan. Because obviously a lot of them don't even understand what we use the analogy, the black swan analogy. It's only just that. It's photographic occultation.
And they think calling something a white swan is a refutation somehow?
Yeah.
I don't know. What? I don't know what's going on.
So because this horizon appears to be Earth curve, the horizon that can't be Earth curve doesn't matter? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. Do we all of a sudden see the geometric horizon? Did Ranty bring that back from the dead? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
No, that's one of the things I said to him. I said, you're going to have to start believing in the geometric horizon again.
Oh. So the location where ships and buildings and shit disappear, that became physical again? Was that what happened in the day that I wasn't here?
Yeah, he just saw a photograph, just like the one we just saw.
If we also make a black swan argument for flat Earth, like if the Earth is flat, the horizon will always rise up to eye level. If the horizon doesn't
Have you
rise up to
proven
eye
it's
level,
anything
the Earth
other
is
than
not flat.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. The horizon, the original claim is that it always appears to rise. It's not that it does. It always appears. Not that it actually does. It can't. If you're above the water surface, 6 foot above the water surface, you're 6 foot higher than the horizon point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
due
this is
to
a red
perspective,
herring
it
argument.
appears to rise to eye level.
It's a red herring argument anyway. It doesn't prove anything.
Appears.
So it's the
That's
black
because
swan.
the horizon's apparent, right?
Speaking of
So it's not
appears,
actually doing that.
speaking of the word appear that you use, it appears that the horizon, the physical Earth curve, no longer blocks the bottoms of boats and buildings.
As told to us by the
Well,
tourists themselves.
well,
so
well,
have fun
Neil.
with that.
I mean,
So that question was directed to the guy who came in.
Can you repeat it?
Yes, it appears that the geometric horizon is supposed to block the bottoms of boats and buildings, but it does not.
Boats still disappear because of the curvature of the Earth. But we have an apparent horizon. This is why the distance shifts or changes.
Excuse me. When the horizon in the Black Swan picture, when you finally understand the modus tollens put forth, we're taking your argument that the Earth curves, and we're saying if what you say is true, guess what has to happen no further than 1.22 miles? Earth curve has to start at 1.2. Hang on. Earth curve has to start at no further than 1.22 miles from a 1 foot observer height on your globe, and that's using geometry. There's no going around this. You're held in by the math itself. So when you see the horizon well over 10, let me finish. When you see the horizon, which is Earth curve, in your model, appear over 10 miles out, and it should be no further than 1.22, it's over. Why don't you just see it?
So first of all, that's a strawman because we do not claim that we see the geometric horizon. We see the apparent one, and that's why the black swan is absolutely BS.
Excuse me. You claim Earth curve, do you not?
Yes, but we do not claim that we see the geometric horizon. So black swan.
Hang on. Is Earth curve caused by something physical or by something that happens, say, with refraction?
Earth curvature is physical, but the effect of ships disappearing bottom up is just an effect of that curving away.
So Earth curve has to be physical. Do I have you saying that?
Yes, but we do not see the physical Earth curve.
I don't. No, just yes. Yes, without a follow-up.
That makes no sense what he just said.
Hang on. So is Earth curve physical? Yes or no?
The Earth curves, yes.
Okay, so if Earth curve is physical, and you're at a 1 foot observer height, where does this Earth curve must start? Where must this start?
Like the effect of ships disappearing bottom up, for example. What
curve,
you said
the
was
physical
right.
curve of the Earth will block at the ship
Just
at
one at a time.
point?
Hold on. Who was first? Who was going first? Samurai, go ahead. Just 10th. Just let him get to the end.
He's
Samurai.
talking. I'm not talking. I want him to finish his point.
Okay. Earth curve, you admit it, is physical and it blocks the bottoms of boats and buildings, correct?
Yeah, in some way. It has to be effective.
Yes or no?
In some way.
Yes, ships are disappearing bottom up because you can see further because of the curvature.
No. Oh, thank you. And Earth curve is physical, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if Earth curve is physical, at a 1 foot observer height, where must the bottom of ships start disappearing? At how far out?
I don't know the exact distance, but you said it. I guess it's
Yeah.
accurate.
Up 1.23 miles, basically, almost 1.23 miles. Would you agree with that, based on
That's
geometry?
correct.
Okay, so that's correct.
In geometry,
and Earth curve is
absolutely correct.
physical. Let's just round it off. Earth curve is physical. It is what blocks the bottoms of ships and buildings. And at a 1 foot observer height, it can be no further than 1.23 miles, correct?
If we do not add any other variables, yes.
No problem. Correct, though?
Yes. With these
Okay.
variables, yeah.
Okay, hang on. Before we go to the variables, I just want to make sure that you don't backtrack. Earth curve is physical. You said yes. At a 1 foot observer height, you said it can be no further than 1.23 miles. You said yes. Now let's go to the Black Swan picture. Where is the horizon in the Black Swan picture when the last oil platform was 9.41 miles? Where's the horizon? In front of that one or behind that 9.41 mile oil platform?
Behind that.
Okay, bye-bye globe. Because Earth curve is the
No,
horizon.
exactly.
In your model, Earth curve is
No, the horizon is.
Are you gonna
That's why I
deny
said
in your
it's
model, Earth curve is
the
the
effect of
horizon?
it. But the horizon is where the sky appears to meet the ground, and we have multiple horizons and everything, like mountains,
No,
for
we only
example,
have
can
one
also be a
horizon.
horizon.
Show me two horizons, please.
Of course, you can. Let's say you're standing at the beach, and at the right side there are mountains, and there is one horizon, and then we have a second horizon, which is the sea, the ocean, and the sky. And the second horizon would be the mountains and the sky. Two horizons.
So you're going to call the right side of my view on an ocean of mountains the horizon, and you're going to call what's directly in front of me, where the sky seems to meet the ocean, a horizon, and that's how you get your two horizons. Is that what you're saying?
Ed.
These two horizons are different distances. So correct.
We're not talking about
Man,
distance.
didn't he say that we couldn't see the geometric horizon before?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did. And all horizons are apparent anyway.
So if we don't see the geometric horizon, what two horizons are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I told him that at the beginning that we do not see the geometric horizon,
Right,
and I
but you
agreed
just
with
told
his
him that we see
statements.
two
We
horizons.
do not take any other variables into account because the atmosphere or light bending is an other variable.
No, that's
And if
based
you
on
add
an
this
to do
variable,
with the
this
physical curve
argument
of the
from
image.
is a Stroman fallacy.
Sam. That's based on an assumption of an R value in the first instance, though.
First of all, the variable light bending is not an assumption of the R value.
Your light bending.
Light will bend.
No, the assumption that light will bend isn't a globe assumption. That's called refraction. Refraction's real. But when you're talking about it in the context of your side profile second horizon that we don't see, therefore isn't a horizon anymore, well, in that context, your light bending is 7/6 of a radius value that you can't get if you haven't got a geometric horizon. Therein ends your argument.
No, my full argument was that this
On
Stroman
top of that,
is not
your
valid
side defines the
because we take
geometric
other
horizon.
variables.
Hold on,
into
Chocolate.
account.
Hold on, Chocolate.
Can I finish?
Hold on.
Sorry, okay.
Go ahead.
So, basically, in his argument, there were a few variables: the R value and a few other, the height, and he did not account for the atmosphere, which is a pretty big variable in this case, and pretty important one.
Sorry, you just seem to have ignored what I've
I
just
said this
stated.
argument would be
You
valid.
just ignored me, Sam. Should I repeat it? What do you want me to do at this stage?
If you want to repeat it.
Why didn't you acknowledge it the first time and just repeat what you've said, in spite of the fact that I've provided you with a rebuttal? Why have you ignored it?
Thought I explained it right now.
Sorry, don't mumble.
Did you?
Maybe
I've given you the rebuttal. Please repeat my rebuttal back to me, so that I don't, feel that you've just ignored it because maybe you didn't hear it. Can you repeat it back to me?
I understood it. I answered the question right now. Maybe I understood it wrong. Could you tell me again?
No problem. You described an orthographic representation with the horizon on the right-hand side and the target as the horizon, you on the left, and it being a single point. You've also detailed that that horizon, in that description, in those maths, does not exist. Now, when you bend light in that mathematics, you're bending it at a rate of r. In standard form, it's 7/6 of the radius. It's called terrestrial refraction. That's your r value that is acquired from a geometric horizon. So you've got a paradox. You can't move the horizon with a refraction based on r if you're moving your r because the horizon's based on it.
First of all, there are days on which the refraction is minimal, and you can also see that. And on these days, measurements are more accurate, and on these days, it's optimal to do these R measurements. And
so your radius is based on how nice of a day it is. Is that what you're telling us?
We're trying to control the variable as much as possible.
Go ahead, Sam. Trying to control the variables.
Yeah, absolutely. We just wait for a better day, like when the temperatures are optimal and we have minimal refraction.
I see. So to acquire the geometric horizon, you've got to get a good day. You told us about 7 minutes ago that the geometric horizon doesn't exist.
We can't see it.
So
there's always
who cares?
a small difference.
We can't see it, so who cares how good the day is?
Because on good days, it is pretty close to the geometric horizon, but we will never see the geometric horizon because we have
Stop! Sorry, you can't be close to something that doesn't exist. That's nonsense.
I said we can see it. It exists, but we cannot see it.
Sorry, we can see it. It exists, but we can't see it. Do you understand what double-speak contradiction is? In the same breath...
You see atoms?
In the same breath, you've just told me we can see it, but we cannot see it. Now, that is literally the most glaring contradiction you could display here.
Maybe I said it wrong.
No shit. Yeah, it's called cognitive dissonance. You need a geometric horizon to be visible, and you're telling me it's not. But when it needs to be on a clear day, it's going to be. And when I say, no, you've told us it's not, you say it's very close to something that doesn't exist. It's called cognitive dissonance. You need a geometric horizon for your globe belief, but you haven't got one. We've debunked it.
That's absolutely wrong. First of all, that's not how debunking works.
Oh, right. We're going to discuss how debunking things works, as opposed to the fact that your geometric Earth curve requires an R value acquired from said Earth curve, which you've told us doesn't exist.
No, I told you the geometric horizon
doesn't exist. Yeah, you made it explicitly clear it doesn't exist. Then you've given us a double-speak rhetoric about it not being visible but being visible. You said it didn't exist. We know it doesn't exist. A horizon that's seen side-on as a marked X isn't a horizon. It only exists in the maths. It's not real. Therefore, when you say on a clear day, it comes close to something that doesn't exist and can't be seen, that's nonsense cognitive dissonance, mate.
Nathan, you're not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying different stuff. I'm saying it exists.
But we can't see it and it doesn't exist. Yeah, I know. You've got a contradiction. You say it exists now, even though about 10 minutes ago it didn't exist.
I always said it exists, but we cannot see it.
Well, then it doesn't exist. It's not a horizon.
Wrong. Okay. Do you see electrons?
Why are you asking me, right? A horizon is a Who's rumpusing the crap out of me from G+? A horizon is the demarcation point between the land or sea and sky. It's a visible location, something that you see. So if we don't see it, it's not a horizon, my friend. It's not close to a horizon. It's not a horizon, because a horizon's something you see.
First of all, the geometric horizon, we don't
see that. That's not a horizon. Don't call it a horizon. We don't see it. It's not a horizon. I've just made that clear. So don't start detailing the geometric horizon that isn't a thing. It's not a horizon. Acknowledge that it's not a horizon, mate. Because it's not. We don't see it. It doesn't exist.
We have an atmosphere, but...
Sorry, not atmosphere. We don't see a geometric horizon. I've covered atmosphere. 7/6R isn't applicable if you haven't got a geometric horizon to get R. I've covered this, you circle jerking fundy. Laugh it up. That's right, cognitive pain ensues when you need R by way of geometric horizon and you haven't got one, and have told us it doesn't exist. Bye-bye, Earth Curve. Bye-bye, Earth Curve. Bye-bye, Globe Earth. Based on R, based on geometric horizon, you haven't got one and have told us it doesn't exist. Bye-bye, Globe Samurai. Share your cognitive pain.
Samurai, if it's a foggy day, you can't see far. The Black Swan picture, we're seeing well over 10 miles out. How clear of a day does it have to be for you?
It has to be such a day that the refractive conditions
Black
are
Swan?
minimal. And the Black Swan.
Sorry, you're going to go on about refraction again. You're ignoring me, Sam. It seems like when I talk and give you a rebuttal that takes apart your refraction, which is based on our needing a geometric horizon, you just go on to detail refractive effects after me debunking them. Why is it that every word I say gets ignored, Sam? What's going on? R for your refraction. Debunk. You need R for your refraction. Needing geometric horizon. Do I need to say it slower, Sam, or will you just ignore it and go on to tell me about how refractive effects are going to answer the 10th man's question?
Light bends even on a flat Earth. It doesn't matter.
Refraction isn't terrestrial refraction on a globe. That's you ignoring me again and talking about refraction. That's real. I clarified that. Yes, refraction's real. Light bends. Terrestrial refraction's based on R, and that's where you've got your second horizon that's geometric that doesn't exist. So when you talk about refraction, it's not about refraction. It's terrestrial refraction based on R. That's the 4th time, Sam. I know you've got to ignore this because it takes apart your argument.
I don't care about refraction at all.
Well, you're going on about refraction quite a lot, but you don't care about it now taken apart that yours needs R? Yeah, I bet you don't care about it anymore because yours needs R and you haven't got one. Tell me you don't care about refraction when you've just tried to detail it and I've stopped you because I've already debunked it and you've just ignored me. Yeah, you do care about refraction. You're refracting the horizon, mate. But you need an R to do it, and you haven't got one. 5th time.
And if refraction, if you can't see the geometric horizon, refraction is always in play, no matter what. Right?
Yeah, standard. Always refracted on a globe. Never a time that it's not. And according to him, geometric horizon doesn't exist anyway. So why you would assume that you can get close to something? Well, because I'm going to use R, based on the geometric horizon, to tell you how it would be close to something that doesn't exist. My God, it must be so mentally painful to be a glober.
Well, and one other thing, Nathan, if it's not in its position, like which it should always be closer, right? If it's showing further away, then downward refraction was always in play. Always. Every single time. It'd have to be, you would think.
I'm just confused as to why he's telling us the geometric horizon doesn't exist, can't see it, when his side defines it as the visible demarcation between Earth and sky. It's a little weird, right? Samurai?
That wrong. Damn it.
We wouldn't expect to see
First of all, it doesn't mean it's not real. If you can't see it, it can exist.
Samurai, your side
How
tells
about
us that
that
ships disappear over this geometric horizon, but you're telling us that we've never seen it, can't see it. So we can't see the
First
place
of all,
where ships
your first
disappear
point.
over the...
If you can't see something, it can exist. If you can't see something, it doesn't mean that it's not real. Can you see electrons? No, you can't see them. Do electrons exist? Yes.
Samurai, when you say something that is defined as something that is visible is not visible, you're declaring it doesn't exist. So, welcome to Flat Earth.
You're claiming the geometric horizon is visible? Can I get one citation for that? I would like to see it.
Sam, have you got a globe in your room?
Somewhere.
You don't
Have you got a globe in your room?
Guys, you've got to let Sam respond.
We don't need
Okay,
10
guys.
people talking through it.
Yeah, you've got to let him respond.
Oh, sorry.
I said yes.
I was just going to say, can you push it on the ground?
Push it on the ground. It's staying on the ground.
Just push it off your desk and watch it smash on the ground.
It will fall down. And well, exactly. What's your point?
I think the point is, although I didn't probably hear it, the point is if something was real, then it would be apparently obvious. You would be able to see it. You would be able to go to it. You'd be able to measure it. But there isn't, you can't measure something you can't see. And your whole model is based on the seeing and measuring of this particular geometric horizon. So if you can never see it, it could never be measured to. That means you're working off of calculated belief and not reality. In reality, the horizon changes with wider and elevation. It never stays in the one spot for any long length of time. It's not a physical location, it's a visual location only.
Okay,
So,
can I read him something real quick? Samurai.
Wait, can I respond to that first?
Samurai, are you listening? Are you
He hasn't
listening?
acknowledged
Yeah.
it. That's why he's hesitant. Hold on,
National
Chocolate.
Geographic.
He's hesitant because
Right,
he's not acknowledging what
National-
you're saying, Chocolate, and now I'm interrupting you. I'm really sorry. But yeah, he wants to move on.
That's all right.
He's not acknowledging you.
Oh, no, we're not moving
I
on.
wanted to respond.
He just asked me. He just asked me for one citation that says that the geometric horizon is visible. I got one for you, coming from your own side. Are you listening, Samurai?
I cited.
National Geographic, Earth, Sky, Horizons. The local horizon, also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between Earth and sky. Citation done.
It's called Earth
Could you
Curve.
pause still in for a second? I would like to read through it.
Sam, it's called Earth Curve. It's claimed to block boats and buildings. Amazing here in a debate you deny the very premise of your religious belief in a sphere Earth and its horizon called Earth Curve blocking boats and buildings. That's the premise of your religion, mate. I know that when you get here and we've debunked R and we've debunked geometric horizons and Earth Curve edge horizons, you've got to deny that you need them. But you do. It's what you think the Earth is. You're not going to share your pain, Sam?
Yeah, I'm waiting for
I
a
have nothing
response.
to
Man.
add.
What happened?
Wait, could you post the citation from National Geographics?
What you need proof that you claim Earth curve edges the horizon. You're kidding me, right? You need us to prove that you think the horizon's getting in the way of stuff at a feet and inches value. You joking? You want us to cite that you think the horizon's Earth curve? Is that what you want? We need to send it you after reading it to you because you're shocked that Globers believe the horizon's an Earth curve edge. Oh, wow, that's an amazing thing to have declared. I think the flat earthers should back up that you clowns think that the horizon's Earth curve. You do, Sam. What kind of Dumbo are you? That's your belief in its most base form. We've just debunked it though, haven't we, mate? So now you've got to deny it. And we've got a site that you claim the horizon's Earth curve for you. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. You're so shocked and shaken that you think the horizon's Earth curve. Yet you'll tell us that a geometric horizon is both visible and not visible with your cognitive pain on show for a few hundred people to watch, right? Pathetic. Globe belief's painful. Yeah, get that citation to him. He's shocked, Chocolate, that the horizon is believed to be Earth curve by globe believers. Shocked because we've debunked it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell us that nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve, because that's how Tim reacted when we pointed out that we debunked Earth curve edge horizons and radius values based thereon. He told us that nobody claims the horizon's Earth curve. That's how much cognitive pain Tim Osman was in. You have given him, literally, you've topped Tim Osman by saying the geometric horizon is visible, but we cannot see it. in the same breath, you've managed to top Tim Osman, Samurai, with your cognitive
I was just going to
dissonance.
say that. Tops him.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the ballers want the Earth to be a ball. They just don't want the consequences of it being a ball.
I have no idea what you're even
I'm
talking about.
confused at something. When he asked that, when he told me to cite that, like, did he not think that that was possible? Did he think that that's not a claim of the globe, that the geometric horizon is actually visible? Did he think we just started doing this yesterday? Sam, you still there, Samurai?
He's in pain, man. Just let him have his pain.
Oh, okay. Go
Nathan,
get a
if I,
big key.
Nathan, if I may, let me read the Black Swan, because this is good for the audience. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, p, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times square root of observer's height in feet, q. Not q, therefore not p, because the last oil well is 9.41 miles in the Black Swan, and the horizon is well beyond that. Earth is not a sphere. So when Sam comes on, he is, how can I put it, chained to the 3959. And in geometry, that 3959 radius has Earth curve at 1 foot high observer starting, I mean, no further, not starting, no further than 1.23 miles. On a foggy day, bad weather day, it might be a mile out because that's all you could see. But it can't be any further than 1.23 miles. And yet here's the Black Swan, one that's over 6 miles, oil well, and then another one over 9.41 miles, and the horizon is well beyond that. The problem is it only is a calculation. It's in the math. It's not in reality. And he says you could never see the geometric horizon. They have to say that. They have to say it because we live on a plane.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll realize that it's only in the math. Keep pumping it into them.
Yeah. They used to say it blocked boats and buildings. Now it only exists in the maths. With that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!